You know, a lot of people have told me that video games just don't seem to be as fun anymore, or at least they don't spark joy like they used to when they played as kids. And honestly, up until recently, I likely would have agreed with that take. And why is that? Is it because of the way modern games are made these days, often focusing on things like battle passes and microtransactions over rewarding gameplay? Or maybe it's due to the fact that a lot of modern games tend to get rushed out the door with the intent to just fix it later after launch. While these practices seem to be becoming, unfortunately, more and more prevalent in a lot of modern games today, I think that's just part of the problem, not the whole thing. I think that another issue that gets often overlooked is maybe taking a look at ourselves and how we play games. Let's talk about it. Alright, so with these videos, I do try to use it as a way to start a discussion. You know, if you agree or disagree with any of my takes that I make in this video, please feel free to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Now, whenever this type of subject gets brought up, usually the main reason why people say games aren't fun anymore is because of how a lot of modern games are designed today, meaning the large presence of microtransactions, battle passes, and the whole games as a service idea as a whole. Now, I'm not going to delve into this too much because people have talked about this a dozen times at length. Microtransactions and battle passes are always designed to encourage the users to spend money, obviously. And this is usually done at the expense of the gameplay experience. While most people don't mind microtransactions if they are put into a free-to-play game, you can still make the argument that it's worse for the games as a whole because you have to basically paywall rewarding parts of the game to service either a battle pass or an in-game store. And if you don't have the money to spend on microtransactions or battle passes, then you're going to have to grind an obscene amount of time to the point where you likely either just cave and spend a few bucks or just outright quit the game entirely due to boredom or frustration. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to delve into this part too much, but speaking of grinding, with everything trying to be a games as a service type game, or a live service game if you will, it's no wonder some people are feeling burnt out from gaming when they work 8 hours a day only to come home to play their game of choice that turns into basically a second job with how much commitment is being asked of them, with the amount of grinding needed to level themselves up, or the worry of missing out on the current season. All of these things play together so much to the point where a lot of players end up developing a sort of sunk cost fallacy with their own free time. And just speaking anecdotally for a second, I've known a few people who basically refuse outright to play other multiplayer games because they're worried that if they even sink any amount of time into other multiplayer games with their friends, it basically nulls the time that they invested in their other main game. And so, yeah, they just don't play other games because they're worried if they spend time elsewhere, then that basically renders the time that they invested useless. It's kind of this endless trap for some people. With all that negative stuff being said, I do think that for a lot of people, games aren't as fun as they used to be because they're not playing them like they used to. I was sort of having this moment of clarity when I was playing my Steam Deck the other day. I felt guilty not playing a new game I had just bought for myself and instead wanted to play Skyrim for the 120th time. And on top of all that, I was also stressed because I wanted to play Modern Warfare 2 and unlock more weapon attachments. Go figure. And then I realized something. Why the f should I care? This isn't a job. Video games are for me to enjoy. They aren't some sort of assignment that I need to complete. Growing up, I would play old and new games alike. Sometimes I would no-life a new game to completion right after I just bought it, but most of the time I would just always go with my gut on what to play. Games were just treated as a vehicle for my enjoyment. Nothing more, nothing less. It didn't matter if I was playing the opening to Mario 64 for the 20th time, or if I was playing the new Call of Duty game that my friends were hyping up. I just didn't care if it was old or new. I just played games for me, and I damn sure was never stressed to enjoy the games I was playing. If there was a game that I didn't find myself enjoying, I typically just wouldn't play it, or at the very least, I would just wait to play at a more opportune time where maybe it would be more enjoyable with like a setting of friends or something. Now, if you're like me, you need to hear this, okay? It's okay to not finish your games. You'll never finish your backlog. And if you want to move on from an old game to play a new one, that's 100% okay. You shouldn't feel stressed out or guilty to play a game that you want to play. Again, games are meant to be played for us, for our own reasons. If getting platinum trophies is your thing, awesome. If you just like to grind Warzone and you're truly enjoying yourself, that's fine. Playing New Vegas for the 100th time, if it sparks joy, go for it. If you only like to play the newest and greatest releases, that's fine too. If all you want to do is play nothing but League of Legends all day,
stop it. Get some help.
There's a lot of noise that you tend to hear, especially from like Twitter and other social media spaces, and it's just important to know what you want out of games first and foremost. Lastly, I feel like it's important to mention that if gaming was something that truly brought you happiness and joy and you just don't like it anymore, make sure to do some soul searching and some reflection on yourself to make sure that the reason why you don't like it anymore isn't due to something else like stress or any sort of other difficult thing that you're dealing with. Life is hard and stress can really build up on you fast, so it's important to make sure that those things always are addressed first and foremost, because it can affect other aspects of your life. But yeah, I guess if there was a TLDR with this video, the main message I would say is to know the reason why you're playing the games that you're playing and know what you really want out of games. And don't be ashamed to like what you like, and don't feel pressured to play a certain thing just because you feel obligated to. With that being said, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the matter. What are your thoughts on the modern gaming space today? Do you think that games are progressively getting worse, or do you think they are better than they've ever been? What are some of your favorite games that you like to play? What are some of your guilty pleasures that you continuously go back to? Any and all thoughts and stories and opinions, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below. And that about does it for this one, everyone. Thank you as always for watching the video and checking out the channel. Please be sure to let us know if you like this type of content or not by hitting that appropriate like or dislike button. And if you want to hit us up, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter or our Discord community server, which will all be listed in the description down below. And yeah, that's enough rambling out of me. Thank you again so much for watching. My name is Blake, and for all things tech, games, to really anything nerdy in between, be sure and subscribe to Digital Cynics. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you next time.